Okay, the thoughts of Aussie Ardiles. Trevor Francis with me in the studio as well, but right now let's cross to our commentary team, shall we, for the big one. Brazil against Argentina. It's Davy Provan and Alan Parry.
3 weeks, 12 countries, 25 games, an incredible 83 goals, and now the world's oldest international tournament has reached a fitting climax with a final between the two greatest football nations on the South American continent. It is, of course, the final that every neutral wanted, a repeat of the Copa America finale from 3 years ago, with one intriguing difference. This time it's Argentina who've been playing the so-called beautiful game, and Brazil who've been grinding out results, their roles intriguingly reversed. Brazil came here to Venezuela with no Ronaldinho, no Kaká, and no hope of winning over a critical public back home who believe that Dunga's team has betrayed the Brazilian ideals of exciting attacking football. It's very much a makeshift Brazil outfit, and at times they've played that way. On the other hand, Argentina here, well, they've been quite wonderful to watch. Top scorers in the tournament, the only team who've won every game, and stars like Messi, Riquelme, Crespo and Tevez, who've given us some truly memorable moments in this tournament. All the signs point to victory for Argentina, but when you look up and see those famous yellow shirts lining up against you, it can do strange things to even the most talented and experienced players. And now the crowd will rise for the national anthems of the Copa America 2007 finalists, Brazil and Argentina.
Santo nombre
Todos Santos, preceded by that of the host nation, Venezuela, who've done such a wonderful job in staging the Copa America for the first time in their history. Over 40,000 fans packed into the Jose Romero Stadium here in Maracaibo, the biggest city in Venezuela after the capital Caracas. And we've got the usual South American atmosphere. Beating drums, ticker tape, firecrackers, the Mexican wave. It's all helped to produce what's so far been an unforgettable tournament that in many ways has even overshadowed last year's World Cup finals. Davey, why do you think it is that the teams here have been playing in such a liberated fashion?
I think they have so many good forward players, Alan, both in midfield and up front. So many talented players, so many touch players, that it would be difficult to try and rein them in. I think that's why Dunga has had so much stick. You know, that this is a Brazilian side that looks more like another European country. And again tonight, I think much will depend, although we're looking for a classic tonight, I think much will depend on how Brazil approach the game. I'm not convinced that Dunga has the personnel to go toe-to-toe with Argentina tonight. I think if he does that, they'll lose the game. And I think we may well see Brazil settle back into the type of performance we saw in the section, where they were quite happy to sit goal side, invite Argentina onto them and try and nick one on the break.
The match is being played at around about 5 p.m. local time here, and that certainly upset the Argentine coach Alfio Basile, because the temperature here, as you may have heard, is absolutely baking. It's nearing 40 degrees centigrade down there at pitch level. That's almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And for Argentina, well, that's a real problem, because when they left home 3 weeks ago, would you believe it was below zero? And Buenos Aires saw its first snow for many, many years. So Basile might well have a point, because most of the games here have been played much later in the evening. And he has predicted that because of the temperature, we'll see a much slower game than usual. In his view, that could affect the entertainment value. Well, maybe that's a little bit of hype, because certainly the opposition camps have been trying to score a few psychological blows before the first ball is kicked in anger here in Maracaibo. Do you go along with the view, Davey, that we could be in for a classic final?
I would like to think so, but again, I would repeat, Alan, I think Brazil will play cautiously. I think if Dunga was going to have a go tonight, Diego would have played. I thought he did really well when he came on against Mexico. And as it is, that Brazilian midfield has one real creative touch player, and that's Robinho. The other three will have to do a little bit extra work to accommodate him.
The referee, incidentally, is exactly the same official who took charge of the final 3 years ago, Carlos Amaria of Paraguay. He had to take charge of a penalty shootout when the teams met in Peru 3 years ago. And the same conclusion is on the cards tonight, as it has been throughout the tournament. There will be no extra time. If the sides are level on 90 minutes, they will go straight to a penalty shootout. And that's something that Brazil, in particular, are very accomplished at. Ticker tape still covering the pitch here from the welcome the teams received as they came out. And it's hard to emphasize really just what this match means in this part of the world. A lot of Premiership interest in the final two. For Argentina, Heinze of Manchester United, Mascherano of Liverpool, Tevez, officially anyway, still with West Ham, Varane, who played for Manchester United and Chelsea, Crespo, another former Chelsea player on the bench, and then for Brazil, Alex of Chelsea and Baptista, who spent last season on loan at Arsenal. Referee just waiting for the signal from the representative of Venezuelan television on the touchline before he gets the Copa America 2007 final underway. So history beckons for the team in the blue and white stripes. A win for Argentina here tonight would make them the most successful nation ever since this competition began over 90 years ago. It's the third time these great rivals have met in the final, and it's one win each so far. Like England, both countries went out at the quarter-final stage of last year's World Cup finals, which by their high standards, of course, was failure. Brazil losing to the finalists France, Argentina beaten by the host nation, Germany. No fewer than 6 of Argentina's starting 11 tonight began the final 3 years ago. There are only 3 in the Brazilian ranks. Early free kick to Brazil.
It'll be interesting to see how much joy Maicon gets tonight, Alan. He really did destroy Mexico down that right-hand side, but I think much of that was down to the Mexican system that night. Argentina going with 2 banks of 4, and before he can even get near Gabriel Henza, who's playing left back, he's going to have Cambiasso in front of him as well. So I wouldn't expect Maicon, the Brazilian right fullback, to have as much influence on this game as he had against Mexico.
As if we needed extra spice for a final as important as this. Let's remind you, Argentina and Brazil are bitter enemies. When they met in the final 3 years ago, the referee had to call in the riot police, and that was just to separate the players. There was chaotic scenes when Brazil equalised deep into stoppage time, and the police were needed to restore order before they could start the penalty shootout. The rivalry between these two nations goes back a very long way, and there's certainly a mood of revenge in the air here tonight. Argentina have been the outstanding side in the tournament so far, and in Riquelme there, the number 10, they've had one of the outstanding players.
I think you can see already the pattern of the game. Brazil are quite happy to drop off, but they're going to have good numbers goal side, and space is going to be at a premium. But I do think Brazil will be better trying to close the game up. I think they have enough pace at the back to play pretty high. I don't think they want to invite Messi and Tevez to be receiving the ball on the edge of their own box.
Milito, the outstanding central defender, helping it forward. Cambiasso plays an unglamorous but important role in midfield for Argentina. They don't have much width in their squad, so they tend to play with 3 narrow in midfield, and Riquelme playing just off the front 2 of Messi and Tevez, who've been in outstanding form since the competition began here. Nervous start, understandably, from both sets of players, as Riquelme wins another free kick. Clearly a man who will be targeted by Brazil.
Well, I think it was Trevor who made the point. They're certainly going to miss Gilberto Silva tonight, Brazil, because he's the one who protected the 2 centre-backs. They don't get any cover from the full-backs. They don't play close enough to the centre-backs to get round the back and give them a bit of cover. And any protection does come from the one who sits in front. And tonight it looks as if it's going to be Josue who's going to sit in that deep position and screen just in front of the back 2.
Arsenal's Gilberto Silva was cautioned in both the quarter-final and the semi-final, meaning cruelly that he's had to miss out here. He had been captaining the side. João has taken over the skipper's armband in his absence. Messi getting his first taste of the action, but Brazil win it back quite comfortably. And the searching ball forward has got Ayala backpedaling. No real support here for Brazil, but my word, support wasn't needed. What a goal by Julio Baptista! Less than 4 minutes gone, a sensational strike, and this competition, well, it leaves you speechless for the quality of the goals.
Well, it's just the quickness with which he hit the ball, Alan, because defender looked well placed there. Abondanzieri thought about coming when the ball was knocked over the top, decided to retreat onto his line, but look how quickly he hit it. Looked to be no room at all. Ayala looked reasonably well placed here, just doesn't react quickly enough. Shift, and what a strike into the top corner.
The beast becomes a beauty. He hadn't scored ever for Brazil before this Copa America. He got a goal in the quarter-final against Chile, a goal in the semi-final against Uruguay, and now another wonderful strike here in the final itself against Argentina. And the man that Arsenal considered not good enough to play for them in the Premiership next season has brought this dramatic final to life. Argentina the favourites, a goal behind, only 5 minutes gone. And what a goal, Davey.
Yeah, a wonderful goal. We've seen a lot of special goals in this tournament, and that's up there with anything that we've witnessed so far. And it does ask a big question of Argentina, who have to live tonight rarely with the burden of expectation of being favourites. Well, Brazil have called their bluff now. Let's see what they have.
Well, really, there seemed nothing on for Julio Baptista, and I suppose he had no other option because there was no support arriving from midfield. He had one choice, And here it was.
Well, Ayala, I think, looked pretty well placed there, but it was the quickness, that touch there, he just shifted it half a yard. And he's hit it with vicious topspin to get it just dipping under the crossbar. Wonderful strike.
Well, this final is being broadcast live to more than 180 countries who I'm sure have all been enthralled by a competition that's provided moments like this, some of the most exciting international football we've seen for many years. Well, will that get the critics off his back for a few minutes at least? It has always been the case with Brazilian football, but they need not only to win, but to win with style. And that is the area that has brought Dunga so many harsh words from the media and the public back home. In response, he says, well, if we carry on the debate about beautiful football, it'll be another 24 years before we win the World Cup again. Referring, of course, to that period between 1970 and 94 when Brazil weren't world champions. Here's Macon, scorer of a good goal himself in the semi-final against Uruguay. Argentina rocked by that Brazilian goal. Elano, the man who's come in to replace Arsenal's Gilberto Silva tonight. Ainse, whose future is still in doubt, the Manchester United man apparently wanted by Liverpool, with United apparently not wanting him to go to Anfield. Well, from a neutral point of view, Dave, you have to say a goal so early on for Brazil is just what we wanted, really.
Well, you would think so, but the only thing against Alan is that Brazil, I think, set out just to frustrate and sit and play cautiously, and they're certainly not going to come out now that they're one ahead. And it really puts the pressure on Argentina to break them down now. And it's going to be anything but easy, given the way that Brazil are. You can see it already here, they're dropping off, leaving Argentina with the ball in their own half, and then squeezing it really tightly when it comes into the Brazilian half of the pitch.
They're in panic, Argentina. They've been a goal behind several times already in this tournament as Messi crosses, and it wasn't a bad ball set up. Oh! Terrific strike by Riquelme. We nearly had another classic goal to celebrate that. Here's Messi. Cambiasso gets a foot in. Referee saw nothing wrong with the challenge. Veron takes it on.
Well, it was a terrific move. You know, we talked about the full-backs being separated from the centre-backs, and it was Messi who got into the channel to the byline. Good set-up play by Veron at the back post, and Riquelme just a little bit too much cut spin on it, always moving right to left. Otherwise, it was one each.
Worrying moment here for Brazil. Goalkeeper Doni has a problem. Hip or back. Not entirely sure how he got it. Played every game for them in this competition. He's first choice with the Italian club Roma. He's been in Italy for the last couple of years, in fact. Very experienced keeper who's played in the Champions League. And certainly at the heart of controversy in the shootout semi-final competition against Uruguay, when he was clearly way off his line, making the crucial save. Now, did he collide with the post in scrambling for Riquelme's effort?
Didn't appear to be much contact with the post. Maybe just trying to take a little bit of the heat out of the game. Argentina giving us the response we expected after going a goal down, and Donny maybe just trying to take a little bit of heat out of it. Stoppage coming at a time that certainly won't suit Argentina. They're desperate to get right back into this.
Brazil, the reigning champions. They have a weakened squad here, but they had a similarly understrength side 3 years ago when they won the trophy, beating Argentina, remember, in the final on penalties. The boys from Brazil have won 3 of the last 4 Copa America tournaments, and they've been in 4 of the last 5 finals. Here's Ainse. The layoff by Riquelme. Cambiasso. Ainse again. Messi was caught from behind by Alex. He's used to that.
I think if you're giving Alex and Joan the choice tonight, they'd rather have played against Crespo. more of a typical centre forward type. Messi and Tevez, different proposition. They'll get up the side of the two Brazilian defenders, and we saw that just a moment ago when Messi got himself to the byline.
Crespo, incidentally, has been injured since the group game. He got injured taking the penalty against Colombia, but he is fit. The doctors have passed him fit to take his place on the substitutes bench, so we may see him eventually. There's another former Chelsea man. Veron wins the throw-in and finds Heinze. Veron again. He's been a player reborn in this tournament after a long time on the sidelines for his country. Turned on by Cambiasso, and Donny didn't seem to have too much of a problem with his back then. Launches the kick long, looking for Wagner Love, who almost nipped in between the defender Milito and goalkeeper Abondanzieri. Zanetti, one of so many hugely experienced players in this Argentina side. It is quite literally the best team they could have picked, the strongest squad they have available. And at the moment, many people feel they're playing better football than any national team anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I think most neutrals would want to see Argentina win it, Alan. You know, if only because they've shown the tournament the respect it deserves. They've brought all their big names here. But they've got a problem here this evening.
Well, if Dunga had planned a start like that, he couldn't have wished for anything better. So he'll have to keep dropping deep like this and running at defenders. It's something he does exceptionally well. He's going to win a few free kicks, you feel, tonight, as indeed is Riquelme. And say the player foul this time.
I think that's where Brazil want to put the bite on, as far away from their goals as possible. This may be within range for Riquelme. They may drop one in behind, but they don't want to end up making that kind of challenge right on the edge of a box.
Most of the Venezuelans in this capacity crowd have chosen to support Brazil, apparently. But Argentina still have a fair number of their own followers here as Riquelme lines up the free kick. A well-practiced routine. They really get it right on the night. It wasn't bad. And it's in the first corner for Argentina.
I think Brazil may be expecting that to be dropped into the back post for Heinze, who got round the back to score against Mexico. Variation there from Riquelme, who's so potent from the dead ball.
Milito has come forward. Great defensive header. Milito couldn't reach the loose ball. Donny pouncing on it. Argentina, remember, have won all 5 games so far, and most of them by a big margin as well. Top scorers in the competition with 16 goals, but up against it here. As Gilberto helps it into the corner. Poor clearance. Josue picking up the loose ball and feeding Gilberto again. Argentina backing off rather dangerously, as they did for the terrific goal scored by Baptista after just 4 minutes. Akon missing his kick. Alex covering behind him. Messi, clever skill again. Tevez in the middle, awaiting the ball, and it came to him and actually hit him in the face.
Yeah, just a little bit too much pace in the pass there for Tevez to deal with. But once again, terrific individual skill there from Messi on the right-hand side. Outnumbered 2 against 1, still managed to get himself into the box.
Well, he looks a man on a mission. You know, Messi, who's been in wonderful form in this competition. Again, Brazil defends so well. Swan getting his head to that one. It's an unfamiliar Brazilian team who defend well and with discipline and attack in not too many numbers. It's usually over the years been the other way around. Just look at all those yellow jerseys between Argentina and the Brazilian goal. Here's Elano. Back to Schwan. The early ball forward has got Wagnerlov, Batista, and indeed Robinho all threatening. So the three most adventurous players in this Brazilian side do get forward quickly when the opportunity arises. And here's the fullback, Macon, with a shot. Ooh, it took a very nasty deflection. And Abondanzieri reacted well.
Well, he had so much time to set himself there, Maicon, on the edge of the box there. He had a choice, he had a pass on the outside. But more than happy to take the effort on. Awkward one for the goalkeeper.
The early goal has clearly unsettled Argentina at the back. It's an area in which they're so strong normally, but at the moment they seem to be backpedaling when Brazil do come forward like this. That's got out. Argentina's throw, and Elano keeps the ball.
Robinho pulling up on the far side, and certainly Dunga will hope he's okay. And he's the one touch player, the one player who can do a trick in this Brazilian midfield.
So couldn't reach the ball. Elano available again for Brazil. Macon coming more and more into it, just as he did so spectacularly well in the semi-final, and he's done brilliantly here.
That's brilliant playing from Zanetti, who tucked in so well. Two centre-backs taken right out the game. Macon in behind Heinze there. Great ball across the 6-yard box. Terrific cover from Zanetti.
Robinho was waiting and ready to pounce. And so far, things have not gone according to script. And once again, it was rather unimpressive defending. Biasso in the end stabbed the ball clear.
Messi reckons not. Looks across in disgust there, and Brazil were so high, so much space for him to get into there. I think it's good play from Gilberto on the far side in the left-back position. Got up just in time there to play him off.
Somewhat surprisingly, Brazil's record in the Copa America is nowhere near as good as Argentina's. Their opponents have won the title 14 times, twice as many as Brazil. But it's Brazil with the goal advantage and in the driving seat at the moment. Gilberto, Batista, caught in possession this time, and the referees let it go as Varane takes Argentina forward. Haven't seen too much of Tevez yet. And a disappointing end to an Argentine attack. Zile, in his second spell as Argentina's coach, facing a real tactical problem here.
Never have a better chance of winning it though. You know, if you look at this collection of players, even going back to the '86 side, and boy were they a good side, but individually this has to be just about as good a side as Argentina have put together in a long number of years.
Elano for Brazil. A lot of pace, Melito. One of the reasons that apparently Barcelona have spent a fortune in agreeing to sign him. He's formed a formidable partnership in this tournament with Ayala. But at the moment, Brazil have got them worried. 20 minutes gone. Brazil lead 1-0 in the Copa America final. Heinze for Argentina. Cambiasso. Clear foul again on Messi. There must be 4 or 5 free kicks.
I think Brazil will be quite happy to see him dropping off as deep as that for the ball a while. They'll be quite happy to see him 40 yards from their goal. Where they won't want to see Messi receiving the balls on the edge of the box. And that's where they want to go and put the bite on him.
Cynical block by Mineiro. Riquelme with a free kick. You couldn't accuse him of hurrying it. Ayala. Veron. It's intelligent running as well, and that's a foul. Spotted by the linesman. The referees apparently let it go, though. Didn't seem too much advantage came Zanetti's way. I think they'd much rather have had the free kick there.
Yeah, they would have.
A lovely ghosting run again by the goal scorer. And a terrific tackle. And it's heating up out there.
Well, it was Melito who stepped out to make the challenge here as Baptista broke forward. But a few tasty ones going in now.
Cambiasso possibly having his shirt pull there. One of 3 Argentine players who's started every game for them in this competition. The goalkeeper and Zanetti, the other 2. It's got a consistent lineup. Macon. Alana to his right. Cautious build-up this time by Brazil, but they don't need to force the issue. Baptista's cross is dangerous. Bardnalov just a little bit too small, really. A taller player might have made a better header on target then.
Well, he certainly peeled off his marker very well there at the back post. The ball in from the wide area was just a little bit too heavy. Otherwise, there's every chance he's getting a header on target there again. And while Brazil don't have the lion's share of the ball, any time they do come forward, they look as if they can score.
We're midway through the first half of the Copa America final, and Brazil lead 1-0. The goal coming inside the first 4 minutes. A terrific strike by Julio Baptista, who spent last season on loan at Arsenal. Melito. Gets it back from Ayala. Tevez took a wild swing at that one. Juan behind him. Riquelme's just changed his boots. His clearance sailing over Zanetti's head. And Abon Danzieri keeps it in play. And he's a cool customer, Basile. Hugely experienced coach, but he knows he's got a problem on his hands here. Clearance by Alex, who could be appearing in the English Premiership for Chelsea next season. He's been out on loan, of course, to PSV Eindhoven in Holland. Mascherano, starring for Liverpool. Veron. Tevez digs it out and finds Cambiasso. And a bit of space opening up suddenly for Tevez. Clever ball in, but Brazil do defend well.
Once again, though, Argentina get 1 against 1 there. 2 centre-backs look vulnerable when they're pulled out into the wide areas. Good ball in from Tevez. Argentina will continue just to play away patiently. They know they have the cutting-edge players to get back into this game.
Roberto forward, tries to get it back from his teammate, but it's all gone wrong. And Argentina start to move the ball in that quick, crisp, accurate fashion that has been the hallmark of their performances here. Referee deciding Veron led with his elbow then. Zile, the man in charge, some, what was it now, 14 years ago when Argentina last won this competition. They haven't won a major trophy since then. And in that time, Brazil have won 2 World Cups and 3 Copa America titles, so you can tell how much this means to the nation of Argentina. Cambiasso for that. Riquelme. It's a very slow pace.
It's so unusual to see Brazil playing like this, but you know, I suppose Dunga, who's been slaughtered for what has been perceived to be an overcautious attitude, I suppose he would tell you, had he Kaká and Ronaldinho would be playing a totally different style here.
Veron. Neves well placed in the middle here. If they can get the cross into him. Here he is, just over his head though. Yes, it seems that Dunga takes an almost European approach to football. His statement is quite simple. He says the game is all about winning, not playing beautiful football. Well, Brazil didn't gain their reputation on that philosophy, but it's difficult to argue with him, isn't it?
Oh yeah, exactly. And if you look at the physique of the side, you know, he's gone for muscle in just about every department. Robinho's the one luxury player that he has, the one lightweight. And when I say lightweight, I don't mean in terms of talent, but he is a bit of a luxury, and he gives the other three midfield players a lot to do. But there is so much strength and muscle throughout this Brazilian side.
Here's Veron for Argentina. Messi again dropping very deep. Veron couldn't quite find Cambiasso. But Brazil are so deep at the moment that the ball is inevitably coming back to Argentina. Riquelme for them. He's already hit the post, remember. Cambiasso.
Well, he had a look up. He was going to play the cross into the back post there, Cambiasso, but didn't have a target. That's what forced him to try and get down the outside. Frustration at the moment, and you can understand it. Argentina struggling to create a clean chance here. And Brazil looking very solid at the back.
Argentina unbeaten at international level for the last 9 months since a 2-1 defeat against Spain in Spain. And amongst their notable victories in that time was the 1-0 victory against France in Paris. Foul there by Ainse. Macon. Wagner Love tries to get it back to the overlapping fullback. Clearance by Melito, and a foul by Josue.
Just up a little bit earlier there, Josue, who's playing almost left side now. It looks like it's Mineiro, who has been playing right side for Brazil, who's sitting just in front in the Gilberto Silva role.
Mascherano to Ainse. Messi. Brazil just doing enough at the moment. Elano. Oh, clever skill. Excellent play. And Gilberto Silva's stand-in. Robinho. Josue. Gilberto.
It's a good ball. Both the strikers were in the box. Had plenty of time there to bend something into the front post. Dunga not happy with the delivery.
Time for Melito to size up his options. Ainse forward. Messi. Riquelme alongside him. And again, surrounded immediately by yellow shirts. This time, he's committed the foul.
Yeah, look, tugging the jersey there. Messi's starting to get a little bit frustrated. Not getting an awful lot of support up there.
Brazil began the competition with that surprise 2-0 defeat against Mexico. Then they took maximum points against Chile and Ecuador without even conceding a goal. They beat Chile again, 6-1 in the quarterfinals, and then Uruguay in the semi-finals on penalties after a 2-2 draw in 90 minutes. Their route to the final much less impressive than that of their opponents tonight. But that counts for nothing when it comes to this 90 minutes, the most important of all. Half an hour gone, Brazil lead 1-0, Argentina have a free kick.
Yeah, that nudge there in the back there. Alex coming in a fraction late, but that's what Brazil have done. They've stopped the fluency in this Argentine side. It's all very bitty. stop-start, and I think at the moment that's suiting Brazil.
Cambiasso. Cleared by João. Well, we were hoping that early Brazilian goal might give us a better spectacle. At the moment, I have to say it's gone the opposite way. Gilberto hemmed in and did extremely well to find a teammate. But back come Argentina. Riquelme. It's just not happening for Argentina at the moment.
I'll take a corner, and maybe a set piece might just be their best bet at the moment. Brazil with an injury here. Another stoppage that Argentina could do without. Tevez certainly not happy about it. Elano feels he needs treatment.
Go for the stretcher straight away here, the referee. Elano, the midfielder who plays in the Ukrainian league for Shakhtar Donetsk. During this stoppage, let me remind you of another big football occasion coming up live on Sky. Tuesday, July the 24th, the Asia Trophy involving Liverpool, Portsmouth, Fulham and South China. It starts at 10:30 a.m. on Sky Sports 1. I don't think it was a phony injury on Elano's part. He's coming off on the motorised stretcher. I don't think he's going to go back on. Argentina belatedly get on with the corner kick here. They have defended everything superbly so far, Brazil. João's header away here. But Cambiasso onto the loose ball. Oh, what an inviting pullback. Wagner Love clears deep inside his own half. And Brazil had a let-off then.
It's Gabriel Enza who was caught on his heels here. I don't think he was expecting the ball to be pulled back across the 6-yard box. Certainly a chance.
What a blow for Elano, taking the place of Arsenal's Gilberto Silva, because the Arsenal man is suspended and now out of the action with 33 minutes gone. Daniel Alves coming on in his place, a quick right-sided player, takes on defenders, good crosser of the ball, a man who's interested a number of top European clubs. He's with Sevilla and has been for the last couple of seasons. It was said that Liverpool, amongst others, were interested in signing him. Alves straight into the action. Melito. Cambiasso making the run down the left. Alex across to cover.
Back the injury to Elano. Didn't see an awful lot in it. Just tweaked a muscle over stretching there.
Mascherano wins it back. Messi gives it away. Better onto Tevez. Good turn by Tevez. Oh, great save! Argentina again so close to an equalising goal. This time denied by the keeper. The first time by the upright.
It's a terrific save. Riquelme in the follow-up here thought he was scoring, and Donny did ever so well to get his left hand up as quickly as he did.
Argentina knocking on the door, but it remains firmly closed. 10 minutes of the half remaining. They have another free kick.
Messi just out-muscled there. You see Brazil don't go man for man, they don't go touch tight when defending free kicks, they just defend in areas right across that 6-yard box. They have such a good physical presence in that area, they don't lose much in the air.
Riquelme setting it up. He's already scored 5 goals, remember, in the tournament, just one behind the leading scorer, Brazil's Robinho. But the aerial threat from Argentina non-existent at the moment. The Brazilian back four have dealt with every cross into the box. Get on. Well, it's almost like a role reversal, this, isn't it? Yeah. Argentina famed down the years for their disciplined defending. Now it's Brazil. Clever play by Zanetti, though. That's the way to find a way through, or at least to win a free kick.
But glad they take the free kick. He was going nowhere there, nowhere to go.
Yellow card for the Chelsea man, Alex. Once again, it's Riquelme who takes free kick duties. He might even fancy a goal from this range. Pretty much the view that the Brazilian keeper Doni will have. Quite a few bodies between him and the ball. Ineffective. Ed's layoff gets Brazil moving forward swiftly on the counter-attack here. Robinho got on the end of things, and Argentina in the end just about got enough men back.
Well, Mascherano did really well to come across in the right back position there as the ball was squared across the edge of the 18-yard box. Brazil so quick at moving the ball forward when they break.
Gilberto. Clever ball back to the left back. A better cross from him then. Argentina would have been in trouble again.
Well, Ainsley had no choice there but to put it out of play, but it was Veron who was caught there. Didn't match the run into the box there. It's Gilberto who runs off him. Good ball across the face of goal, and Ainsley did well to tuck round.
It seems a strange thing to say when you think that Argentina have hit the post and seen another effort saved by Doni, but Brazil have looked more threatening going forward. Alves with the corner, cleared by Veron. How's that for composure? Goalkeeper took a bit of a risk though. Well played. They're sort of growing into this game, Brazil. Beginning to play some measure, at least, of the football for which they've become famous. Lito can't get it away from Julio Baptista. And again, it's lovely one-touch football by Brazil. Great ball into the box, it's an own goal! Oh, what a disaster for Argentina! Just over 5 minutes of the half remaining, and Brazil, the Copa America champions, take a 2-goal lead, and it's the captain, Ayala, with the misfortune to knock the ball into his own net.
Well, we see it so often, and Ayala really has no choice here. He has to try and deal with that. He doesn't know who's running in on his blind side, who's coming in behind him, and he's trying to get it wide of the target, and at full stretch can only turn it inside the post. But I don't think he has a choice. He has to try and deal with that. I don't know whether he got a shout from his goalkeeper or otherwise, but I think he has to try and get that ball out of play. He's desperately unlucky, and we see that so often.
The vastly experienced Roberto Ayala, who's won over 100 caps for Argentina, has unwittingly here maybe struck the death knell to their hopes of lifting the Copa America for a record 15th time. And once again, Argentina find themselves mesmerised almost by those famous yellow jerseys. They just cannot seem to shake off the curse of Brazil. A disastrous time in the game to concede in that manner, in any manner.
Once again, Brazil win the first ball. I don't think they've lost anything in the air that's come in from the wide areas. That the ball in, well, you can feel for Ayala.
Superb pass, wasn't it? Or cross, anyway. It was just waiting to be converted. But no one expected it to be by an Argentine defender. Well, they've lost the plot here, Argentina. And their experienced coach, Basile, has got some talking to do at half-time. And the pre-match favourites are really up against it.
Well, keeper thought it was coming across the 6-yard box, didn't count on Ayala turning into his own net. But I think even if the goalkeeper gives him a shout, Ayala still has to deal with that. If he thinks he can get that wide, he's got to try and take it on. He doesn't know whether Brazil have anyone piling in from the back post area on his shoulder.
Well, it'll be fascinating to see how Brazil approach the rest of this game now. Will they take the shackles off and start to attack and play the beautiful game after all? Or will they get even more defensive now that they have the cushion of a 2-goal lead? Argentina have beaten Brazil just once in their last 5 meetings. That was in a World Cup qualifier in Buenos Aires a couple of years ago. In the Copa America, they've lost to their rivals the last 3 times they've met. One or two wild tackles. That one by Mascherano isn't helping Argentina's cause.
He's got a few decisions to make. Basile at half-time, the Argentine coach. And one of them, surely, Alan, has to be Hernan Crespo, who we're told is fit, physically fit enough to play in the game. I'd be very surprised if we don't see him sooner rather than later, given this score right now.
Well, it'll have to be a yellow card for Mascherano. He just committed a foul and then committed another almost straight away.
Well, he's never within playing distance of the ball, so you can't have too many complaints there. And it's just a measure of the frustration there of this Argentine side.
When they met 3 years ago in the final, Argentina led twice, Brazil came back twice. Now the boot's on the other foot here. Now there by Baptista. Veron. Into the last minute of the first half. Zanetti. Can't reach it. Brazil switch so quickly from midfield into the opposition half. Daniel Alves. And there's another needless free kick conceded by Mascherano, who is walking a tightrope here.
Well, it's in an area of the pitch in which he doesn't really have to commit himself. He was goal side.
There's 3 fouls he's committed in quick succession, already on a yellow card. Daniel Alves. Riquelme. Veron. It's untidy, just a minute of stoppage time. And I think the end of the half can't come soon enough for Argentina. Brazil won't want it to end. They lead 2-0. Tevez in a hurry to get the free kick forward to Messi. Delightful little ball by him, but Cambiasso didn't read it. just shows you once again that you cannot assume anything in football. There wouldn't have been too many people fancy Brazil to go in leading 2-0 at half-time if that is the score. But here they are in a seemingly comfortable position as underdogs. A goal right at the start of the half and another right at the end. One an absolute beauty by Julio Baptista, the other an unfortunate own goal by Roberto Ayala, and Brazil, the defending champions, lead the favourites Argentina by 2-0 at the interval.
Much joy playing through Brazil. So.
That's right. This is not Argentinian style, but I think he will wait about 10-15 minutes and then he will do something like that. But Argentina have a mountain to climb right now. It's not impossible, but it could be done. But in midfield they need to play the ball a lot quicker and provide the ball to Messi and to Tevez. So if they do it a little bit quicker, they may have a chance to have a defender. At the moment they don't have chance because when they receive the ball, it's already a lot of people around them.
They don't play with a lot of width, Argentina, and Dunga has responded by dropping in Baptista and Robinho to make a 5-man midfield, leaving Wagner Love up front by himself. And when they do get possession, Brazil, they break so quickly. The two fullbacks, Macon and Gilberto, are encouraged to get forward to support whenever possible. And at the moment, they're making life very difficult. One goal from Argentina could change the whole complex of this game, and they've got the goal power there. You mentioned the two that could come on, Milito and Crespo. And also they've got Aymar as well, who could possibly come in the second half.
OK, which way will it go? Your commentary team for the second half, Davy Provan and Alan Parry.
Thanks, Rob. Welcome back to Maracaibo here on the Gulf of Venezuela in the far north of the host nation. Capacity crowd of over 40,000 inside the stadium. A stadium which has seen a great many goals, and a lot of them have been scored by Argentina, who played here twice in the group stages and scored 4 times on each occasion. Now they need at least 2 goals to keep alive their hopes of winning the Copa America for a record 15th time. 2-0 down at the start of the second half against the defending champions Brazil. Julio Baptista after 4 minutes, an own goal by Roberto Ayala 5 minutes before the break. Brazil have come here missing most of their star players, and with words of criticism from back home ringing in their ears, but never ever discount the men in those famous yellow jerseys. Once again, they've turned it on here. If not the style, then certainly the effective performance in that first 45 minutes that could win them the trophy. And straight on the attack again. No changes made by either coach during the half-time interval.
I've got to say I'm surprised at that. I thought we would have seen Crespo at half-time. Certainly they have to get far more from Tevez. Hasn't had a kick in that first period. Messi's been a little bit busier. But again, coming so deep for the ball where he's far too far from the Brazilian goal to give them any real worries.
Incidentally, don't adjust your set, as they used to say. Slight problem with the live pictures being fed to you back home from here in Venezuela. We hope it'll settle down in a moment. Macon's throw down the line. Say went for it and missed. They're getting a painful rap on the foot as well then. From the man who came on, Daniel Alves, as a first half substitute. It was his cross that was turned into his own net by Ayala for what could prove to be the crucial second goal of this game. The 84th goal of this tournament. The matches here have averaged more than 3 goals a game. So if that average is maintained, we will see at least one more goal here. Who will it be for, though? And the next goal in the game is surely all important. If Argentina get it, well, it's game on. If Brazil were to score again, it's game over. Substitutes in a coordinated little warm-up routine there. And you wonder if one of them at least will be introduced before the hour mark. hesitation at the back again there by Argentina's back four. But Brazil have conceded the free kick.
I think the irony tonight, Alan, is that Robinho's hardly had a kick either. Brazil 2-0 up and the little talisman hasn't really performed yet.
He's been a knock in that first half, or a muscle pull anyway, and he's been pretty ineffective, as you say, but he's been like that in a few games and still weighed in with 6 goals. Most of them, in fact, did come against the same nation, because he scored 5 in the 2 matches that Brazil had against Chile. Here's Macon. He's been one of the outstanding attacking fullbacks in this tournament. Great Cafu, of course, paraded up and down that right touchline for Brazil for so many years. With Roberto Carlos doing likewise on the other side. Well, it's a new combination here of Gilberto on the left and Macon on the right. New look Brazil, all together. No Ronaldinho, no Kaká.
Yeah, they've looked absolutely rock solid, and I think that's the problem Argentina have. Argentina have scored so many second half goals when games have started to become a little bit stretched. That's not going to happen in this game. Brazil are just going to sit tight, very, very compact. They're not going anywhere. They're certainly not going to get strung out. And if Argentina are to create anything, they're going to do very well, because Brazil, so far, defensively, have been 100% on the game.
I'm sure Argentina will come in for a lot of criticism if they fail to win this final, because they have the strongest squad here on paper. Virtually no one missing, as we mentioned in the first half. Most of their top European-based players are here, and they would have been expected with a squad of that sort of strength to go on and lift the trophy. They could yet. Riquelme's free kick. Tony, who denied Argentina's number 10 in the first half with one terrific save, but was beaten by a shot from the same player that hit the post. And he played it into a dangerous area, but again it was a Brazilian head that got there first.
I think they've lost one cross coming into the box from either side tonight. Swan and Alex so dominating in that area, and that's when the fullbacks do get a chance to tuck in and help out. And both Gilberto and Maicon, both over 6 feet as well. And Argentina getting no joy at all from crosses either side.
I must say I've got some sympathy here with Tevez, because I didn't see what he did wrong either, but he protested for so long. What is it, the goalkeeper he's shown the yellow card to? For time wasting, it is, yeah.
And they're taking a knock.
Remember, he had that injury in the first half. Well, he's clearly in some pain here. I don't know how the referee can decide that he's faking injury. What if he's genuinely hurt? Well, he must be a good physio as well as a referee. He can spot an injury from 50 yards away. Yellow card for the goalkeeper. I think Tevez thought he was going to be cautioned for not allowing the keeper to take the kick. Going through a bit of a whistle-happy period here. The Paraguayan referee, Carlos Amarilla. And there's another whistle and another free kick for Argentina.
It's a cynical one. Argentina had good numbers forward. It's a free kick worth giving away, gives Brazil a chance to regroup here, get goal side. Josue knew exactly what he was doing.
We haven't as yet seen Riquelme have a strike on target from one of these free kicks. He's played them all in high. Will this be the exception? He's certainly capable of hitting the target. And Messi also alongside him. This again goes in high. Corner.
There's nothing at all in the central area, and that's where most of the delivery has gone. Argentina have thrown very little into the front post area or the back post. And anything that's landing in the middle of that 6-yard box has been cleared.
Another set piece for Riquelme. Another easy take for Doni. Really disappointing that for Argentina. And the pace with which Brazil counter-attack, it could be worse than disappointing. Oh, they were very relieved to see that flag go up then.
It's Gabriel Lenz in the left-back position who's deepest there for Argentina. Dunga not happy at all with either the decision or his forwards for, well, he's onside. You can see it's Milito who's trying to get up. There is a player on an offside, passive offside, or would have been given offside before the rule was changed, but the runner from midfield was certainly on.
And the benefit of the doubt then, Argentina, or otherwise it would have been good night. And they've saved up their most disappointing performance for when it really matters, Argentina. They've got a lot of work to do to get back into this game. It's looking more likely Brazil to get a goal than Argentina to pull one back at the moment. Clever little skill by Robinho. But too clever in the end. Showing enough of the ball to Zanetti.
That's a poor ball, but previous to that, good defending from Zanetti. They're determined to stay on his feet, not commit himself.
Quite windy out there, as you can see now, with the ticker tape blowing across the pitch. Oh dear, really, the referee, I think, was making a meal of this supposed time wasting. I just wonder if someone from Argentina has got into his ear at half-time. Gilberto now follows his goalkeeper as a player cautioned for wasting time, in the referee's opinion. Entitled to do that, of course. Checkers once again trying to block the clearance from Doni. Inside, Cambiasso. The Kelmy goes down. And you can see more cards coming here, can't you?
That's where they want to make the challenge on the Kelmy, though. Quite happy to give away free kicks in that area of the pitch.
Mascherano. Inside. Riquelme. Once again. The referee decides it's a foul. Frustration for Baptista. He's now going to get back and help defend 10 minutes into the second half. Riquelme lining up the umpteenth free kick of the game. Yasso trying to find a bit of room. Ayala up with him. Oh, it's almost like a carbon copy once more.
I think it was Maicon who got that away. It was Maicon. It's a good ball and it comes in with loads of pace on it. But Brazil once again have lost nothing in that area.
Almost knocked down for Cambiasso. The space quickly occupied by a Brazilian defender again. Zanetti up against Robinho, Veron. Countless free kicks now. Brazil certainly adept at spoiling the game, breaking up Argentina's flow. There's Messi, we've hardly seen him in this half, and he's given the ball away. Robinho, competition's leading scorer, with an accurate pass there, and Wagner Love running to one side, and Josué to the other, and they really ought to have done better there, Brazil.
Good tackle from Milito. Brazil always looking dangerous on the counter. You wouldn't rule out a third here. Argentina starting to overcommit, but the real problem here is lack of width. Neither Cambiasso nor Veron, natural wide players. And Brazil quite happy to channel the Argentine play right through the central area.
To make matters worse, Argentina's fullbacks Zanetti and Heinze have been more occupied with stopping the two Brazilian fullbacks coming forward than getting forward themselves. Now we're about to see the first Argentine change. Tevez, who's been really disappointing, gives it away again. Juan's clearance wasn't the best. Macon made a good ball out of a bad one then. He's been outstanding and he's still running. Good work by the goalkeeper, Adam Danzieri.
I did well. Just wonder who can make way here for Pablo Aimar. There's Cambiasso in the semi-final. He's probably favourite again here.
And Messi runs into trouble. Veron there to win it back. Aimar is more of a sort of playmaker, really, isn't he, in the Kelmy role. His tempers get a little frayed.
No, Veron at full stretch, but he's certainly entitled to go for it. The ball's here to be won.
And it is indeed, by the looks of it, Cambiasso, who will be replaced. And in his place, Pablo Aimar. Plays in Spain, like so many of his teammates here. He's with Real Zaragoza. Juan with the free kick. Easy in possession again there, Argentina. Josue for Brazil has got plenty of choices. Wagner Love beaten to it, but the referee saw that as a foul.
That's Milito who reckons he played the ball, but he certainly came through Robinho to get it. And the referee, who I think has had a pretty poor match, certainly got that one spot on.
Painful there for Robinho, equally painful for Milito. It's anguish clear for all to see, but I think, as you rightly say, the referee was spot on this time. We're approaching the hour mark in the 2007 Copa America final here in Venezuela, and the defending champions Brazil are a long way towards successfully defending their title. Optimistic free kick from Alex, though. Here's Josue. Robinho. Smashed that straight at Ainse. Poor clearance by the Argentine keeper, Adam Danzieri.
I see Brazil a lot higher up the pitch at the moment, pressing the ball far higher up the pitch. Backline closing the game up.
Veron has found some room here. Again, they open up Argentina. Batista. Ooh, Ayala, mindful of the fate that befell him in the first half, took no risks this time.
Well, it was a clumsy touch there from Batista. Had a pass on his outside there. Ball just got away from him at the vital moment. But one more from Brazil at the moment puts him out of sight.
Well, tactically, you have to say that Dunga seems to have got it spot on tonight. It may not please the purists, it may not please the romantics and the neutrals, but Brazil have played very effectively here. Good take by Adam Danzieri in that crowd of players, and a great first-time clearance. He's known for his distribution. Oh, it's a free kick against Messi.
Right shoulder for me, but handball given against Messi. Night of frustration for the young Barcelona forward. Certainly the pick of the two strikers. Tevez for me has done very little this evening. And even more surprising that we've yet to see Crespo.
I don't think he's trained at all for something like 12 days now, but as we mentioned in the first half, the medical staff did declare him to be fit enough to play. Dunga will be quite happy to see him remain on the bench, I'm sure. Very pragmatic coach as he was as a player, really, wasn't he? He was in a very artistic midfield, and he was the workhorse, if you like, the water carrier, as someone famously once described the role. Even the name is pretty ugly by Brazilian standards, isn't it?
Well, he's built this side in his own image. There's very little flash about it. Robinho the obvious exception, but Still very effective and as good defensively as we've seen Brazil for a long number of years.
Here's Josue. Gilberto. Robinho. Oh, clever little ball. He nearly came off. And that was brilliant by Riquelme. Messi. This looks more promising. Tevez. Good ball. Good defending. Messi shot. They had enough bodies in the way. It's come back out to Tevez.
Well, at long last they get a little bit of space in the last third of the pitch there. Good break. They managed to get Tevez wide. I just wonder if Riquelme could have tried to get a header on target there. Instead he helped her onto the back post there for Aymar. And eventually Messi's shot is charged down. But a bit of encouragement for Argentina. A little bit of space where it really counts.
Is this the moment that Argentina strike back? Alex gets it clear. How many times have we said that tonight? He and Juan have been rocks at the heart of the Brazilian defence. Veron, Zanetti. Lito walks it out. Aymar. Time to take a few gambles, perhaps, from Argentina's point of view. Otherwise, this game seems to be going inevitably one way, and that's Brazil's way. Away by Juan this time. Batista using his strength to win the throw for Brazil. He never gets too flustered or too emotional, but the coach, Basile, keeping the cool head. Batista. And for Robinho. It's opened up again here down the right. Alves with the cross. Now Veron for Argentina. Tevez has got away from his marker. Alex across on the cover. Good defending.
A good example of the pace they have at the back. The two centre-backs are very tall, but they're both very, very quick. And Alex did well to spot the danger there. Tevez could have been penalised for muscling in there initially, but Alex did well to get across.
25 minutes to go here in Maracaibo. Baptista's turned into trouble. Veron. Mascherano. Aymar. Just can't get that telling ball in the final third, Argentina. Now they've given it away to Robinho on the halfway line, and he's been fouled by Melito. Juan. Macon. There's Alves. Effective partnership those two have created down that right-hand side for Brazil. Has gone against Macon this time. He's got the energy and the engine, as they say, to get back quickly into his defensive role. Mascherano. Here's Aymar. Messi again receiving the ball deep. Just look at all those yellow jerseys, those swarming around the Argentine player in possession. Aymar this time. Mascherano. Alex comes out with the ball, but the whistle had already gone. Brazil's free kick.
Yeah, free kick against Riquelme there. At the point you made there in terms of Messi getting the ball, so many yellow jerseys goal side as Veron's withdrawn.
Well, Crespo remains on the bench to be used perhaps later, but it's rather surprisingly Luis Gonzalez who's come on in place of Veron, and he's known as a defensive midfielder, really. What do you make of that, Davey?
I'm surprised, I've got to say. I just don't know why we haven't seen Crespo, unless it is a fitness matter, but we were told he was fit to play, albeit he hasn't trained a great deal short of games. But at 2-0 down, you would think Basile would have to get him on, have to gamble with him.
And in any case, they have Diego Milito, the older brother of the central defender Milito, who's a striker. He could have come on as well. There's another yellow card, this time for the scorer of Brazil's first goal, Baptista.
It's an example of just how workmanlike this Brazilian side is. That's one of your strikers back doing that defensive shift. It takes an awful lot of weight off the boys behind him in midfield.
Well, famously, as they say, it only takes a few seconds to score a goal, but at the moment, Argentina haven't really rattled the Brazilian cage. If anyone can, maybe it's Riquelme. 3/4 of the way through here. Well, they've done the same thing with virtually every free kick, and Brazil have dealt with it in the same way every time. Here's Wagner Love. Got support as well, and he'll go for the return. Will he? No! He didn't need to. It's another superlative finish. Alves. Wonderful goal. Brazil 3, Argentina 0. The defending champions have surely kept their title.
Well, that's a wonderful pass from Wagner Love, who may have been tempted to knock the ball on the outside, but he delayed until he had a nice little angle to slip it through on the inside. Got to say, Alves had it all to do to score going across the goalkeeper from this angle. Goalkeeper's angle's perhaps a bit suspect, but what a good finish to find the inside of that far post. If anything, the pass sends him slightly wider than he'd want to be, but what a good finish.
His first ever goal for Brazil. What a day, what a moment to score it. 20 minutes to go, and it is surely sealed victory now for Brazil against the old enemy. Argentina must surely accept that they're beaten. The form book has been ripped apart.
Well, none of us saw this, Alan. Certainly the bookmakers didn't see it. I think they were going as high as 3-1 on Brazil to win this. And they've really turned those odds on their head here tonight. And as you said earlier on, Dunga has to be given every bit of credit for getting the tactics spot on. Terrific strike there from Alves. The one little strip of the goal where the goalkeeper can't get across.
Well, surely Riquelme's got to try something different this time. Every free kick has been like an action replay of the one before it. And there's another one with the same outcome again. Oh! Well, this time Gilberto took his eyes off the ball, just went to sleep and almost paid a heavy price.
I don't know whether he got a call from his goalkeeper as we look at the finish here again for the third goal. But certainly was a half chance here at the back post.
He deals with that, and Juan helps it further out to the scorer of that third goal, Alves. Oh, a great run by him.
Well, didn't want the free kick, he's been pulled back unnecessarily. I can understand his frustration, but Brazil must feel the job just about done here. Ainsley just grabbing at the shirt, but he was on his way had he been allowed to play on.
Well, it'll be fascinating to see the reaction of the media and the public in Brazil, that huge football crazy nation of 160 million inhabitants, who love to see their team play with that samba style. Dunga says it's all about winning, and they're on the way to winning. Julio Baptista beaten to it this time.
Well, you wouldn't rule out a fourth the way Argentina are looking at the moment, looking very ragged.
Now, Brazil done enough to satisfy their demanding public this time, as Dunga won them over tonight. Here's Josue. Foul, that surely, although the referee seems to have decided it was a little bit of gamesmanship on Robinho's part, in which case, why didn't he yellow card him anyway? Monero shoots wildly over. A lot of high-quality pre-season competitions before the new season begins on August the 11th. On July the 28th, it's the Emirates Cup. Arsenal, Inter Milan, PSG and Valencia taking part in that. Saturday, July the 28th at 1:30 on Sky Sports 2 and available in high definition. A crushing disappointment this for Argentina, who came here to Venezuela 3 weeks ago believing that they had the quality to win this competition. Brazil, well, when they lost that first game to Mexico, you would have got on long odds on them even reaching the final. But here they are with a commanding 3-0 lead. Well, if this follows the pattern, we know exactly what's going to happen with this free kick.
Centre of the 6-yard box, isn't it? Headed clearance again. There's just been no variation at all.
It's unbelievable, really, isn't it, at this level, that they would try the same thing time and time and time again, but it's failing every time.
A different take at that time, but still far too heavy. Nothing for anyone to go and attack, anyone to get a run at.
And Joshua plays a lovely ball forward. Oh, Wagner just beaten to it by the keeper. Well, they're rampant now, Brazil. We might even finally get to see some of the tricks and flicks. Maybe not from this side. Not as pleasing on the eye as so many Brazilian teams down the years. But Dunga has certainly got a very efficient unit together here as Gilberto wins the free kick.
Well, off the soft variety, certainly. I don't think any of us saw. You'd always be reluctant to write Brazil off, but I don't think anyone saw this result, the scale of this win. Still a bit of football left in the game, but if anything, Brazil looked like adding to this lead. And nobody saw this result.
Frustration there for Tevez and the yellow card. Referee's name is very like the Spanish word for yellow, and we can see why. Senor Amarilla has produced a lot of cards of that colour tonight. 15 minutes to go. Alex clears the ball from Messi, who's been a disappointment like so many of his teammates tonight. And a still urging effort and organisation from his side. And he's had bags of that. Short there for Ence. And Brazil flow forward again. 4 yellow shirts. Alves.
And Mascherano did well to get back. It was his slack square pass that put Argentina in trouble in the first place, but he did well to recover. But symptomatic of this Argentine performance, too many misplaced passes in the second half.
Well, as always on the big occasion, you need your big players to turn in star performances, and that just hasn't happened for Argentina tonight. Here's Ence. Tevez, one of those who has disappointed.
I don't think he's the only one, Alan. Riquelme for me has been a huge disappointment. I know he hit the post, he brought out a good save from Donny, but in open play, I don't think he's created anything. I don't think he's set up one clean chance for either of the two strikers.
There's Wagner for Brazil. And the free kick. Well, at this stage, 3 years ago in the final, Brazil looked on their way out. Remember, they got that very late goal deep into stoppage time to send it to a penalty shootout. I don't think we're going to have similar late drama somehow here tonight.
I think that's what will make this so painful for this Argentine side, because 6 of this team played in that match, almost had their hands on the trophy that night when Adriano took the game to penalties with that late strike. And this was supposed to be payback time tonight.
Instead, they've gone into debt again against their historical rivals. And Argentina are going to have to wait another 4 years to try to become the most successful team in the history of this competition. They're on 14 victories, remember, in the 90 years they've been playing the Copa America. It's a record they share with Uruguay. No one has ever won 15 titles, and they're not going to this year. Brazil are going to win the title for the 8th time in their history. Can Argentina at least get one goal back? Well, when the opening came, it was a pretty poor effort from one of Brazil's, well, failing stars tonight, Riquelme.
Yeah, just haven't lived up to the reputation tonight, Riquelme. Bit of cramp setting in here for Joan. But Riquelme had plenty of time there to set himself and go and work the goalkeeper. And once again, he's leaning back. By his standards, that's a poor effort.
The early goal really has set the tone for the whole game, hasn't it?
Well, I don't think it did the game for neutrals any favours at all. But that's not Brazil's problem. It just made them more determined to sit in.
And Wagner Love determined to put a bit of icing on the cake there, but he's been frustrated again.
I think he was looking for a handball there. Maybe blind side for the referee to spot it.
Mascherano caught there as he played the ball away, and he's in some pain. Tevez. And the Liverpool fans will be anxious to see Mascherano staying down. He's all right again, I think. Yep. Heinze. Will he be his Anfield teammate, I wonder, next season? Messi. Gonzalez tries to chip it up for Carlos Tevez. It's a good ball in, but yet again, Alex deals with it. Mascherano's shot, and it's deflected kindly here for Messi to go round the keeper. But the flag denies him a moment of joy.
Yeah, I think you see the Brazilian defender stopped here. It's a very tight decision there. Maicon on the right back, position for Brazil, almost playing him onside. Maybe half a yard in at most. But certainly enough for the linesman to get his flag up, and rightly so.
10 minutes to go, and Argentina denied even a consolation goal. And his expression now suggests that he knows, like the rest of us, that the outcome is not going to be favourable for Argentina. Brazil have been Copa America finalists 18 times. They've lost the final 11 times, which is actually a record for the competition. But they're not going to lose this one. Their most recent victories came in 1997, then again 2 years later, and of course the last time the tournament was held in Peru 3 years ago. So their recent record is absolutely outstanding. Maicon, Alves has gone for the return. He's been excellent since he came on, and here he is again. Not quite right, the pullback.
It just hard for him to pick out Wagner Love at the front post. Argentina had choked off that area. Just looking at this offside here, well, very tight one. I think even if Argentina score, it's a case of too little, too late.
Josue. I'm sure so many of these Brazilian names pretty unfamiliar before the competition started to most British viewers. Names we normally associate with those yellow jerseys missing. Kaká and Ronaldinho chose to tell the Football Federation in Brazil, and Josue is showing a yellow card here, that they were too tired from their exertions for their clubs, Barcelona and Milan. And I wonder if they're regretting that decision, seeing their teammates now sailing to victory here. Ronaldo left out of the side, Adriano as well, by Dunga. He took a lot of criticism for all those decisions, but it's come right for him in the end, as Tevez goes for the return here. And Gilberto forced to concede the corner.
Well, he gets the corner. There's a poor return pass though from Tevez, who's offered very little support tonight to Messi. Messi for me has been busy. He's always looked for the ball. He's accepted all the responsibility, but there hasn't been much going on round about him.
Here he is again, shaping to shoot, but being denied. And this is where Brazil are effective now. They get forward so quickly. Wagner Love. He'd love a goal to finish it off. Whoa! Oh, it was a very deliberate, curled effort.
A bit like Baptista for the goal, just trying to shift it, make half a yard on his right side and try and find that top right-hand corner. Didn't quite get his foot round it. But at 3-0 up, well worth the effort, under no pressure at all now.
And the World Cup qualifiers start in earnest for the South American nations later in the year. And this will do wonders for the morale of Brazil. We disappointed in the World Cup finals last year.
Just wonder what it does for Argentina, given this is them just about full strength.
And there are a lot of older players, aren't there? 34, 33, 32. I wonder if this is their final chance for glory.
Maybe a watershed for them.
They won a major trophy, remember, for 14 years, Argentina. We'll look for a goal again here as we approach the final 5 minutes. Throw in rather than a free kick, I believe. And apart from that one save from Riquelme in the first half, Doni hasn't had a lot of action.
It's a terrific protection, Alan, particularly from the two centre-backs. Juan and Alex have won anything that's come into the box.
Messi winning this free kick. And they've at last varied it with a quickly taken one. Juan still gets it away though when the cross came in. Heinze, Melito has stayed forward now, the centre-back. Heinze, a little push on him. And he's still kicking every ball down there on the touchline. Dunga, captain of a Brazilian World Cup winning team himself, of course. He swings another disappointing free kick in, straight at the goalkeeper. He's still out there, but in vain as Macon heads it clear. Well, it's strange in a competition that has produced so much adventurous attacking football and so many goals that one of the least ambitious sides, Brazil, are going to lift the trophy. An irony that will not be lost on Argentina, I'm sure. The top scorers are going to end up as the runners-up. Here's Mascherano for them. Gonzalez. Messi. Once again, a danger threat. Sorry, yeah.
Just so many players around the ball. There's so many yellow jerseys around the ball on the edge of the box. And just weight of numbers at times. If you get Messi one-on-one, he will get in behind he will get a shot away. But just out-muscled tonight.
The referee seems to have just indicated to the fourth official 3 minutes of stoppage time. Macon. Gets it back from Alves. Mascherano battling to win it back for Argentina. Lionel Messi. Here's Zanetti. good play by Riquelme. Gonzalez. It's just too easy for the back four of Brazil. But they've now got to face another free kick, fouled by Baptista.
Well, I'm sure they'll try and get a shot on target here, Riquelme. Well within range, and one of the few that Brazil have given away within range.
Yes, it's not exactly been a desperate rearguard action, is it? They've been measured and disciplined. Not sure what Tevez is up to there. Eventually, Riquelme will take it. It'll make no difference, whatever the outcome. And that sums up his night.
Yeah, never a danger to Donny. Trying to hit up through the ball and try and get as much topspin as possible, but it's a poor effort.
And it has been a poor effort all round, I'm afraid, from Argentina, the favourites. We're in the last minute here in Maracaibo. Wagner is about to be substituted. Didn't get his goal tonight. Has had a strange sort of tournament, really. He's played in every tie. Player has been a big success in the Russian league with CSKA Moscow. Just conducts the applause as he is replaced by Fernando. He missed the penalty in the semi-final shootout against Uruguay. No need for a penalty shootout again for tonight. As expected, 3 minutes of stoppage time. Looking at the bigger picture, David, how would you rate this Brazilian side, in terms of World Cups? Italy obviously surprised everyone by winning the last time out. The French team perhaps has hit the peak and gone down again. Would you see this being a Brazilian outfit that could make an impact when they get their big players like Kaká and Ronaldinho back?
I think they'll certainly be hard to beat. There's no question that defensively they're far better than they've ever been in the past. Whether or not they have the players at the business end of the pitch, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Certainly you add Ronaldinho and Kaká to this side, and you have a very decent mix. The thing that's impressed me more than anything tonight is the defensive discipline. They've stuck to their shape, they've been compact from start to finish, and this is a very good Argentine side who've made nothing against this Brazilian backline.
The man who has been effective up front for Brazil has just been substituted, Robinho, and Diego has taken his place. But Robinho will win the award for the top goal scorer in the competition. He was a couple of goals short of becoming Brazil's highest scorer in this competition since Pelé, almost 50 years ago. Fitting in a way, I think, that Pelé still keeps that title. Pretty much all over bar the shouting now, and there'll be plenty of that on the streets of Rio and Sao Paulo and all those other football crazy Brazilian cities tonight. The biggest continent, or the biggest country on the continent, will celebrate in style, I'm sure. They love their football, they love to beat Argentina, and tonight it has all come good for Brazil. For once, I'm sure they'll forget the lack of style that their team has displayed and just enjoy that scoreline. They certainly will be celebrating. Josua's clearance. We're in the final 20 seconds of the Copa America final. And the whistle goes. The champions retain their title. The boys from Brazil have won it again. Argentina, the favourites, have been beaten by 3-0 here in Venezuela. And the much criticised Dunga and his Brazilian players celebrate victory. A firecracker welcome. And the samba beat sounds yet again in South America. Not the Brazil of old, not the Brazil that we're used to, but a very, very good side for all that, and one that Argentina could not overcome. Davey.
Well, it's been a terrific counter-attacking performance from Brazil, and 10 out of 10 to the coach. I don't think there's any doubt that individually Argentina have better players, maybe not 1 to 11, but certainly in most areas of the pitch. And for Brazil, not just to win tonight, but to win as convincingly as they have, I think tells you everything about Dunga and how he's done his homework and how he hasn't bowed to the criticism back home in terms of the way the side play, the lack of expression, and it's paid off here tonight. And I don't think we'll hear too many complaints on the back of this performance and this result this evening.
And good to see Arsenal's Gilberto Silva out there in the midst of those celebrations. Unable to play, of course, there he is tonight because of the yellow cards he received in the quarter-final and the semi-final. And I've no doubt that in a way the players, were unified by all the criticism they've been getting back home. That will have made them stronger.
It may have suited them tonight for a change to go in as outsiders. And Argentina had to live tonight with the kind of expectation and the kind of pressure that is normally on Brazil, and they've come up well short.
Great scenes. Portuguese not good enough to translate, I'm afraid, but it's almost as though they were forming a circle and turning their backs on the rest of the world, turning their backs on their critics. It must be so difficult for any Brazilian team to live up to the reputation of the great players that have gone before them. And that criticism will have stung, it will have hurt. Well, that's what they think of their coach. And Dunga has been there and done it before and got the t-shirt, and now he's got another one.
Interesting too to see Gilberto Silva among the celebrations as well. Might have been easier for him to jump on a plane and get himself on holiday once he knew he was suspended for the final, but he's not. He's there with the rest of the group.
And Wagner Love, ever the exhibitionist, ever the extrovert, leads the celebrations in front of those hordes of Brazilian fans. Robinho, the leading goal scorer with 6 in the competition. Argentina, the leading scorers overall, have departed the stage. Now that famous rhythm can be heard all around this stadium. We have to say as well that this is Dunga's first real crack at a major competition. He's only been national coach for a year, and he'd never coached at senior level in club football before they gave him the job. So for all the stick he's taken, that is some achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It would take a brave Brazilian coach to set the national side out the way he did tonight, given the way they're expected to play, given the traditions of this country. But he had the bottle to do it, and it's paid off big time.
Moment of reflection for some of their players. Having a quiet moment to himself as Robinho is surrounded by hordes of photographers and radio reporters. There's a whole army of media people follow Brazil. Anyone who's been to a major competition in which they've taken part will tell you that. Here's the third and decisive goal by Alves. What two cracking goals they scored tonight. The other one an own goal.
Well, this is the pick of the bunch for me. Ayala's well placed here, but it's just two little shifts here from Baptista. And with very little drawback with the right foot, he smashed that into the top corner. Ayala, I think, is unlucky here. He's got to try and deal with this. It's a good low, pacey cross in, and Ayala simply gets unlucky. But by that stage, Brazil well and truly in the driving seat.
And here was the icing on the cake. His first goal for Brazil, scored by Daniel Alves. That's the World Cup. They haven't quite taken that. Not yet. They might have gone a significant step closer to doing just that. Who knows? And certainly they know what that looks like, because Brazil are the only nation who qualified for the final stages of every single World Cup. The only nation to win the biggest trophy of all 5 times. The only nation to win the World Cup outside their own continent.
It's a different Brazil we saw tonight. In the past, despite the success they've had in the World Cup, they've lost a few through defensive frailty. This appears to be a new approach, and providing you're not losing goals, there's a big chance you'll win games if you can nick one at the other end, and they've always had the players to do that.
Statistics. Well, like all statistics, they make interesting reading. But the one that matters is that top scoreline. Brazil 3, Argentina 0. An emphatic victory in the end for Dunga's team against the competition favourites. Now the stage is quite literally being set for the presentation of the trophy. Don't tend to go quite as smoothly here on the South American continent as they do in Europe, so it may take them some time to sort it out. Here are the highlights of the final. And what a goal by Julio Baptista to set the ball rolling.
I think if anything that was bad for the game. It's a wonderful goal, Alan, but a Brazilian side who set out to play on the counter-attack at that stage decided, okay, we're just going to sit in now. We can play on the break. All the pressure is on Argentina now to come forward.
It looked as though they pulled the goal back here as Riquelme smacked the ball against the Brazilian post.
Good set-up play from Veron, took all the pace out of the cross in from Messi and just a little bit too much cut spin on it.
But then Brazil inevitably came close again. The goalkeeper dealing with that rather awkward shot. Macon getting forward with great verve down the right-hand side as always.
Didn't do it too often tonight, but that was a terrific setup. Cross here from the fullback.
Don't ask me to explain what the numbers mean, by the way. I haven't got a clue. I think it's the minutes gone in the game when these particular incidents happen. Our friends from Venezuelan television providing us with the pictures. Well, we know what happened in this minute. It was a goal.
That's such a difficult cross to deal with. Don't think the goalkeeper shouts, but Ayala, as I've said a few times, has to try and deal with that. Doesn't know what's going on behind him. But what a good ball in from the substitute Alves to put him under pressure.
Alves certainly made a huge contribution one way and another. His cross providing the opportunity for that goal, and then his shot providing the third goal.
Terrific pass because he waited long enough, Wagner Love, until he could slip it inside the left fullback there. Not convinced that the goalkeeper's got his angles spot on here, but it's a terrific finish.
Well, just for good measure, they kept a clean sheet as well, even though there were one or two scary moments. And now somewhere in that mass of media and the Brazilian players and the distraught Argentine players on the left-hand side of your picture will be the man whose job it is to hand over the trophy. We know that the FIFA president, Sepp Blatter, has been in Venezuela today, and he's been praising the home nation for the part they played. Strangely enough, Venezuela was the only country on the South American continent that had never previously staged a Copa America, so this was very much a first for them. They also managed their first victory on the field for something like 40 years, and a place in the quarter-final. They couldn't get beyond that stage, but I think they deserve congratulations for staging what has been an exceptionally entertaining and exciting tournament. Sepp Blatter will indeed be the man to lead the presentation party. CONMEBOL, who are the South American Football Federation, will also be represented. And of course the host nation with their own FA officials will provide the rest of the party. But all the focus of attention will be on that gleaming silver trophy that we caught sight of before kick-off. And Dunga, a World Cup winner as a player, now a Copa America winner as a coach. And remember, on this continent, this competition is the equivalent of our own European Championships. That's how big it is. The T-shirts as well are providing a handy reminder to the rest of the world that Brazil would like to stage a future World Cup in their own country. Which they have several times before, of course. Well, he'll enjoy the press conference at the end, because many of those who've dipped their pens in poison to destroy his reputation might have to swallow a few words tonight.
He must be the most satisfied man in the stadium. Might not have survived this tonight had Brazil lost this game. I just wonder how Argentina explain this result. It's not as if they turned up with a weakened team. It was Brazil who left their big guns at home for this tournament. Argentina at full strength.
Well, colourful is a word that always comes to mind when you think of Brazil, their football, their fans, and the colour silver is what occupies their thoughts at this moment. As predicted, it is taking them a little time to get things ready here, but Brazil won't mind at all. There are the individual medals that the players will receive, and think of the famous names and the great names of the national teams who've won this competition over its 90 years. Many of those, like Anderson, who we'll see in action, of course, in the Premiership next season. Didn't get the chance to play anything other than a bit part role, but you can see that there's real unity in this squad, Davey.
Just wonder who goes up for the cup, whether it's Gilberto Silva or tonight's captain.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm standing in for him as skipper tonight. I don't think they'll really mind who lifts it. There's a rhythm and a style about these guys, even though they were a bit more pragmatic, should we say, during the 90 minutes. Their true Brazilian character coming out now as they celebrate.
I think there's been a style about the whole tournament, Alan. I think Sepp Blatter will be looking on here tonight and wishing that the World Cup could be as entertaining and as open as this tournament has been over the last couple of weeks or so. It's football, I think, the way most of us want to see it played.
Even the fans move with style, don't they? I've been lucky enough over the years to see Brazilian teams in training, and I don't know if you've had that opportunity, Davey, but it's an education, really, because they just seem to have a natural balance and a natural rhythm about them and a natural feel for the ball.
Well, they do. There's certainly been a sea change in the approach now under Dunga. They're going to be a side who are going to be much more difficult to beat. They're not going to lose the goals that they lost in the past that cost them so dearly. And if they can get the right players in from the midfield area forward, they will be a force to be reckoned with once again.
Sepp Blatter the president of FIFA, takes the steps to the platform that holds the Copa America trophy. The men in suits don't look too happy, do they? But the men in yellow shirts look absolutely delirious, and with good reason. Their nation is about to be crowned champions of the South American continent.
La máxima autoridad del fútbol mundial, el licenciado Joseph Blatter, presidente de la FIFA.
Mr. Blatter introduced to the crowd here.
El presidente de la Confederación Sudamericana de Fútbol.
I don't really care who's going to be handing over the prizes.
El anfitrión, presidente de la Federación Venezolana de Fútbol, Rafael Esquivel Melo.
Medals ready, the trophy ready. How about we get the players involved now, chaps?
El señor presidente de la Confederación Brasileña de Fútbol, señor Ricardo.
Mr. Blatter has had his critics in his role as FIFA president. He's certainly come up with one or two unusual ideas in his time in office.
Con la premiación,
and I'm sure he's enjoyed what he's seen here, and let's hope it sets the tone for future international tournaments. And as soon as Argentina, in the time-honoured fashion as the losers, will come up to receive their medals first.
Por favor, integrantes de la selección representativa de la Asociación.
Of course, we've got the referee and his assistants, as Argentina somewhat reluctantly make their way forward. So much expected of them. The favourites before a ball was kicked here in Venezuela, and certainly the favourites in the final tonight. But favourites don't always win, and that is why we all love sport, and in particular this sport, so much. Because you just cannot write the script, Davey.
No, I don't think there were too many of these Argentine players will keep these medals, Alan. It'll be a bitter reminder of how they came up short here tonight, how they failed under what was a fair amount of expectation that they would win the match. They certainly had the talent to win the match, and it will take some explaining back home how it's gone so badly wrong for them tonight.
Disastrous night too for the captain, Roberto Ayala. Maybe at fault for the first Brazilian goal, certainly at fault for the second, and nowhere to be seen for the third. And for some of these players, it could well be the end of their international careers. Riquelme, for instance, was persuaded back. He actually retired from international football after last year's World Cup, and Basile persuaded him to return again for this tournament. Ayala, as I said, has got over 100 caps. Zanetti too, over 100 caps. One of those recalled to the squad by Basile. Veron too has been on the fringes of the national team for some time before this Copa America. They've still got plenty of excellent young players, of course, and let's not lose sight of the fact of what they achieved in those first 5 matches that they won in such style in this tournament. Okay, it didn't happen for them in the final, but they've still made a massive contribution. The various members of the backroom team, the medical staff, the physios, the masseurs and so on, will get their memento. Don't forget, we'll be hearing the views of a very disappointed Ozzy Ardiles, who's alongside Trevor Francis in our studio, once we've seen the trophy handed over to Brazil.
De Paraguay, Walter Real.
The referee and his assistants from Paraguay will get their medals too.
Y los árbitros venezolanos, Luis Sánchez y Manuel Andalucía.
Cards tonight. So kept the grip on things, and I'm sure you'll have memories of 3 years ago when he had to call upon, remember, the riot police to stop the players having a set to at the end of the corresponding match in
a
Peru.
los magníficos campeones de América.
Magnificos campeones. Well, even my feeble Spanish knows what that means. Magnificent champions.
Quienes recibirán en este momento, recibe la medalla el presidente
And on
de
the
la
night they
CBF,
certainly were.
Ricardo Teixeira. Integrantes de la selección brasileña de fútbol rumbo al estrado principal de este escenario, templo del fútbol sudamericano, el Pachencho Romero, un símbolo de hermandad y solidaridad sudamericana.
And all around the stadium
No
now.
escucho a Maracaibo, no escucho al Pachencho
spectacular
Romero.
firework
¡Alegría
display
Maracaibo!
bursts
Hoy
into
hemos
life
tenido la final
as
de la
Robinho
Copa América
leads
Venezuela
the
2007.
Brazilian squad up onto the stage. To huge cheers from the thousands of Brazilian fans. Wagner Love, I wonder how many more moments like this he'll see. Way down the pecking order in terms of strikers. The goalkeeper Doni, who had so little to do tonight, but made one outstanding save from Riquelme. The little man Josue, Julio Baptista. I wonder if Arsenal are having second thoughts at this moment, if Arsene Wenger is watching this, because he's had a very good tournament, hasn't he? 3 goals, and he came good in all the matches that mattered. Quarter-final, semi-final, final.
Oh, he certainly came good tonight when it mattered, set the game alight, and after that Argentina were always chasing it and just proved incapable of getting back into this match. The first goal was absolutely crucial, and once Brazil got their nose in front, they never looked back.
Well, I haven't seen Gilberto Silva yet. There he is at the end, so maybe he is going to lift that trophy. Macon, who scored a valuable goal in the semi-final, celebrates. Gilberto Silva gets his medal, Dunga gets his, and in a moment they'll all get what they came here for. Once again, the valuable members of the backroom staff get their moment in the spotlight. Hugely satisfying moment for Dunga, who has turned the words of criticism into his team's favour, galvanised them and made them into champions again. Looks like the coach driver's going to be getting a medal in a moment, I think. Wonderful splash of colour. And anyone who loves this game, I think automatically loves Brazil. It's just about everyone's favourite second team, if you like.
Allí lo tenemos, el aplauso para él, para que reciba este reconocimiento.
La Copa Bolivia, el vicecampeón.
Oh, he's back on stage again.
De la selección argentina de fútbol. El saludo a la Argentina con la Copa Bolivia. Gran protagonista de esta Copa América Venezuela 2007.
Well, at least he's got something to remember the night by, but the second place trophy is not what he wanted to be receiving.
De este campeonato, Copa América Venezuela 2007, el señor Robinho de Brasil.
Now this is obviously the award to the leading goal scorer, Robinho. 6 goals, 5 of them against Chile, remember, in the 2 matches there. He'd only scored 6 goals in 32 league games for Real Madrid last season.
La Copa al goleador. Ahí el doctor Nicolás Leos hace entrega del trofeo al goleador de la Copa América Venezuela 2007.
Hasn't entirely come off The Bernabeu.
Este joven talento brasileño
Well, this was his
hizo en esta
tournament, all
Copa
right.
6 goles. El aplauso para Robinho del Pachencho Romero.
Ahora sí, convocamos al capitán de la selección
And now,
brasileña.
the moment has arrived.
Recibe la Copa América.
It's Brazil, 3 years down the line, who once again lift the Copa America trophy.
Gracias, Venezuela.
The champions here in Venezuela, just as they were in Peru 3 years ago. And when the Copa America is staged again 4 years from now, they will still be the team to beat. Maybe not the stylish Brazil of old, but a very, very good team nonetheless. It's congratulations then to Brazil, the Copa America champions, once again.
So for the 8th time